We have lived too long with a feeling of chaos and division. Violence and threats of violence trouble and disrupt our lives. We pause in dark times to reclaim our sense of balance, to remember that peace is still possible. We pause and we wait in the stillness as we light this Advent candle for peace.
In this holiday season, may the darkness of winter be dispelled in this festival of lights.
And may the darkness of ignorance be dispelled in the strength of compassion, reason, and sharing.
Out of the din of the city, away from the noise of the crowds, we come to rest in this moment, in this place. Set apart from the never-ending to-do lists, embracing the seventh day, a day of rest, we come to the warmth and stillness of this sacred hour. Remember, you have chosen to be here. Something in your life led you to arrive here, now. Whatever tasks and cares await you, now, for this brief time, simply rest. Allow your soul to be nurtured. Let the waves in your mind and heart gradually subside as you come home to yourself, holy and whole. Come, let us worship together. Love is the doctrine of this church, the quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve life in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow in harmony. Thus do we covenant with each and with all. To honor all the joys and all the sorrows we are holding close to our hearts this week, let us be with one another in a moment of silence. Please join with me in a spirit of prayer and reflection. Eternal and beloved, gracious source of all life and all love, we enter into this moment of worship grateful for the time out of time that gives us pause to reconnect and become more fully present to ourselves, to our community, and to that which we call holy. May our joys be celebrated together, our wounds be healed together, our hearts be opened together. We approach the darkest day of the year, when our patience and our good intentions often wane with the shortening of the days. In many churches, this is the second week of Advent, a week dedicated to praying for peace. During this week, may we come to understand the Spirit of life as the source of all peace. May the work of this season bring us closer to peace in our world, in our communities, in our families, and in our hearts. In this coming season of silent nights, let us remember those who live in worlds less than silent. Let our hearts be open to all those who live with violence, fear, abuse, and neglect. May the source of all love and peace be the source of our power to come to the aid of all those who are hurt. May we find the strength and the courage to bless and to heal a wounded world. All this we pray in the names of those known and unknown, present and absent, remembered and forgotten, in the names of all the helpers of humankind. Amen.
So I have a question for you all today. Do any of you ever worry about things? Maybe you worry about a test you have to take, or maybe you worry about going to the dentist or the doctor, or maybe you worry about when you will get to go back to school and see your friends, or maybe you worry about when you will get to see some of your family again. Or maybe you worry about a family member or a pet being sick. Or maybe you worry about COVID. Or maybe you worry about not doing something right. Or maybe you worry about doing something new, like riding a bike, or skiing, or sledding down a big hill. Sometimes we can get lost in all of our worries and fearful thoughts about the future. Sometimes for me, it seems like a swirling tornado of worries and fears in my brain. So, how do I calm my worries and fears down? Well, I'm going to try something, and you all can try it with me. So doing these very simple practices can help me, and it can help you pause the busyness of our brains. So you can do this with me today. You ready? So in all of the craziness that sometimes swirls in our brain, these little practices are like hitting the pause button to help our brain tornadoes become more still. So this first practice is called the balloon. And it's good for adults too, so adults, you can join this practice. So think of your favorite color. Mine is green. And picture a giant balloon of that color in your mind. Now take a slow, deep inhale through your nose, filling up your tummy with air as if trying to blow up a giant balloon of your favorite color. You can also stretch your arms open and overhead like you're holding a big balloon. So let's try that again. Ready? Think of your balloon. Let's do an inhale. And then when your balloon is totally full, you can hold your breath at the top if you want. You can pop your balloon like that if you want. And exhale. So we'll try it one more time. Y'all ready? So get ready to inhale. And get ready to pop your balloon. Exhale. And doing that a few times can help our busy and tornado-filled brains pause. Kind of cool, right? Well, there's another practice that I like to do when I need to kind of pause, and it's called the finger trace. So you can hold out your hand like this. You can take your other finger. You can trace your fingers like this. Kind of feels kind of cool, right? And then you can go back. You just keep on tracing your fingers and focus on that. And that could help pause our busy minds. And one more thing you can do when you need to pause your mind and the tornado in your brain is you can ring a bell or a singing bowl like we do in our church. We ring the gong in our worship services so that we can pause in silence and stillness for a moment, like this. So next time your brain is swirling with a worry, tornado, or busyness, remember some of these practices that can help calm your mind to bring you back to this moment right now. Bye.
Our reading this morning comes from the Reverend Steve Garnos Holmes. His poem, Silence. In between things is the silence that holds everything together. Enter the silence and return to the root, the place where you are held together. The substance of the divine, perfectly clear and transparent. The silence in which the virtuoso sings you into being. The blank page where the beloved is drawing you. The darkness in which God says, "Let there be light." Enter the holy temple and sing that hymn. I need to confess to you this morning that I am a slave to my to-do list. I get easily distracted. It's hard for me to stay on task sometimes, so I need those bullet-pointed, written-down lists to remind me what it is that I need to do. And the holiday season just makes the need for those to-do lists even greater. My list becomes a spreadsheet separated by columns of various tasks, both at church and at home, and in preparation for the holidays, and all of the little subtasks in each cell. And over time, through October and November and into December, that spreadsheet grows and grows until I start to feel oppressed by it, and I have titled it in my Google Drive, the spreadsheet of doom. I think you can tell how I feel about this just by the language alone. The spreadsheet imposes itself on me. Do, produce, achieve. Now, in and of itself, a to-do list is not a bad thing. And when I stick to one, the nice thing is that I remember to do things. But when I get carried away with the lists, when they sprawl into spreadsheets that go into columns beyond the width of my computer screen, the problem is I start to forget who I am in the process of doing things. My soul becomes disquieted. I lose my sense of inner peace. I lose my sense of the wholeness of myself, and the wholeness of myself in balance with creation. Everything in my spirit just gets off kilter. There's a great old chestnut of a bumper sticker that reads, "Remember, you are a human being, not a human doing." Cute, right? It may be a little oversimplified, but I'm a fan of bumper sticker theology occasionally, and this in particular is a little nugget of truth that is easily lost in the rush of our everydays. The demands of this world on us far too often turn us into machines, programming us with repetitive tasks and repetitive actions. The world gets us running routine after subroutine until our internal processors overfunction and overclock and overheat to the point where finally we feel like we are separated from our real purpose in life, which is simply this: to become more fully, more wholly ourselves, and in the process to draw others into their own wholeness too. So how do we fix this? How do we get to start over? Have you tried turning yourself off and on again? Heaven knows we could all use a reboot from time to time. Now, despite my modern metaphors here, this overworking, this overtasking, this human doing instead of human being, this is an ancient human problem. We have been doing this for millennia. We have always been susceptible to the loud demands of the rat race. In the Psalms, in the Hebrew scripture, the author watches their fellow human beings running around their lives in endless routines, doing task after task, and ultimately trying to get control of things that they simply cannot control. In Psalm 46, the psalmist hears the voice of their Creator in the midst of all this saying, "Be still and know that I am God." Be still. What is this stillness? What are we being asked to do? Stop moving? Maybe, but not necessarily. Be absolutely silent? Maybe, but not necessarily. The Hebrew word the psalmist uses for still is rapa, which means literally to cease acting on one level, to stop doing what you're doing for a minute. But it also means, more directly and to the point and at a deeper level, surrender. Well, that's a little bit of a daunting word. Surrender? That seems extreme, nihilistic. But God is not asking his people to quit in the psalm. This is not a quitting surrender, not a giving up, but a giving over of tasks that were never really yours to begin with. To recast the phrase in a modern notion, the divine is saying to humanity, hey, take a break already. I got this part. The world will continue to turn on its axis. It doesn't need you to do the pedaling. Almost literally, God is saying to his people, you are a human being, not a human doing. Remember. Remember who you are. And remember who you are meant to be in relation to all that is. In the face of all the world demands, we need to stop and reboot. And we need to do that more often than we might usually do in our everyday lives. This stillness we are being called to, this surrender, might be the cessation of our motion, or it might not be. But it certainly is a pause in acting on external demands of us in our lives. This stillness, this surrender we are being called to might be our own silence, or it might not be, but it certainly is an insistence on our part on the silence of the external voices making those demands. An insistence on that silence of the external. Also, we can have the time and the space and the presence of mind to hear the still small voice that is greater than any of our own. Our relation to all that is. Now, this stillness is a discipline. It is hard work. I struggle with it constantly. Today is again one of those sermons that is as much for my own benefit as it is for yours. I am preaching what I need to hear this week. It is a struggle. And I'm not alone in that struggle. Michael Hyatt, who is a nationally recognized leadership coach as well as an ordained Orthodox deacon, he talks about his struggle too, but he also writes about why, even in that struggle, the discipline of stillness is worthwhile for him. He gives several reasons for why he keeps working through the struggle, and two stand out for me. First, he writes, I want to maintain perspective. If I don't make time to be still, he writes, then I find myself in reactive mode, influenced by hundreds of little voices with big demands. And second, I want to stay connected to my true self. I don't want to get confused, thinking that I am the image I present to the world. They are related, of course, but I want to live from the inside out. I want to live from the inside out. And that is certainly how I would like to live as well. Even just 10 minutes a day, heck, even just 5 minutes a day of some sort of intentional, quiet, solitary presence with our own selves gives us a chance for that stillness and that reboot we so desperately need. A chance to just be for a few minutes, to be with the wholeness of ourselves and remember who we are, to be with the sense of our whole selves in relationship to all that is, so we can remember what our real purpose is in this life. To just be without the demand to have to show anything for it at the end, other than some semblance of restored inner balance and inner peace. In this second week of Advent, we light a candle for peace. For external peace, to be sure, we need it so much. But let us not forget to focus on our own sense of inner peace as well. We have entered into a season of great demand. Buy the right gifts, make the holidays happy, get your taxes together, tie up all those loose ends for the year. But friends, we are also in a season of awaiting. The advent of the birth of Jesus. The anticipation of the solstice and the return of the light, the cusp of a new year and a chance for new beginnings. Where the world demands things of us, the infinite at the same time, in the same season, invites us to reconnect with our whole selves, to remember who we are. In the rush of everything that is December, may we find the courage to accept that invitation, the invitation to be still and know who we are as ourselves, as a people, as part of the infinite. May it be so. If you are coming to us for the first time through these video worship services, I invite you to get to know us better online through our website, or connecting with us on our Facebook page, or sending me an email to ask your questions. All of the addresses for those can be found in our service notes below. I invite you as well to sign our virtual guest book so we can get in touch with you if you would like. A couple of announcements before we end today. First, we are still accepting sign-ups for our do-it-yourself home movie Christmas pageant for our Christmas Eve video service. We are assigning one line of verse from the Christmas story to each person who signs up, or possibly 2 or 3, depending on how many people we have sign up. And your job is to take that and film that as you see fit. You can give a straight reading into the camera or make a whole big production out of it, and we will be stitching those all together as our gospel readings for our Christmas Eve service with the Christmas story. You have until Wednesday to sign up to take part in that. Your videos will be due back into me on Friday, December 18th. The link to the sign-up form is in the service notes below. Each December, our Sunday offering is dedicated to our friends and charitable partners at Self-Help Incorporated. Since 1969, Self-Help has been pooling the resources of our local churches to provide financial assistance to those in need in Los Alamos County, in Rio Arriba and Taos counties, and in northern Santa Fe as well. Please give as generously as you can. Use the link to our Givelify page below, or download the Givelify app onto your mobile device. The offering will now be accepted. May what you give bring you joy and into deeper relationship with this community. Friends, may life bless us and keep us. May the light of life shine upon us and out from within us and be gracious to us and bring us peace. For this is the day. This is the one wild and precious life we have been given. So let us all find a way to rejoice and be glad in it. Go in peace.